collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at the DX Boon Boom Change Axe from Bakuage Sentai Boonboomger. Now this is the transformation device and main weapon of both Boon Orange and Boon Black. That's why they are featured here on the right side of the box. And it does have three modes. Of course, the Axe mode featured very prominently here on the front, as well as what they're calling the Rod mode, but essentially it's a sword, and then the Handle mode, which is the steering wheel. So that's going to be pretty cool. Nice group shot up here with red, blue, and pink off to the side. Black and orange taking center stage since it is their item. And then it shows you the two components here over on this side. Not really much going on the bottom here. Over on this side, again, just kind of showing you the handle mode. And then, of course, you have Patokar 1 and Patokar 2 as primarily used by Boon Black. And then over here on this side, you have the handle mode, and you have Boon Boom Shovel and Boon Boom Dozer with orange. That's who primarily uses those. And then spinning it around to the back, you have the QR code for the manual, and then showing you how everything works. And of course, it can read all of the cars, has compatibility with Boonboomger Robo. So a lot to cover here in this one. It looks like two LR44 batteries are included, so we shouldn't have to provide batteries for this one, which is very nice. But that's pretty much it for the packaging. I'm going to go ahead and get this stuff out of the box, and we'll take a closer look. Okay, so here are the two components as they appear in the box. We have the Boon Boom Booster, which is what they use to actually transform. And then we have the axe sword handle piece. Now, there are no electronics in this piece on its own. So it's hollow in spots down here, these gold pieces here. There's not too much to this, honestly. It's pretty lightweight. It's kind of dinky. Just to kind of do a little size comparison with the Boon Boom handle, you can see it's considerably longer. Now, to be fair, if I put this in the sword mode, which is its longest part, or form, I should say, they're kind of the same size, relatively around the same size. Just for a little comparison there. I still don't really know why they decided to go with two different melee weapons. I feel like they should have had the axe mode and then maybe have like this section fold back and then it could be a gun or something like that. I think that would have been much cooler to have one, close quarters weapon, one ranged weapon. And I feel like this already kind of looks like a gun. If you could have just had this part flip back and then maybe there was like a little barrel under here, I feel like that definitely could have worked. But it is what it is. So to transform it to the sword, there's no release or anything. You just pop this up and it'll kind of click into place. And then there you go. You have the sword mode. Click it back down. You have the axe mode. There's a trigger button here, but again, there are no electronics in this. And you can kind of see it's moving that piece there. It's going to make a sound once we connect the changer piece. The other thing you can do is you can see right here it says arms, which I think is kind of cool, and it shows the axe and the sword. This is the release, so you press this down, and then this section flips around, and as you do that, now it says drive and has a picture of the car. I think that's really cool. It's such a tiny little detail, but I think that's really neat. The other thing you do is take this piece and flip this up for the sword, then flip it over one more time, and now you have the handle configuration, so you're ready to drive. But that's basically how you transform this into its three forms. Not really much to it, but it works. I think it looks kind of cool. So we'll put this off to the side for a moment so we can take a look at the Boon Boom Booster. So just for a quick little comparison, and let me turn this off so it doesn't make any noise on me. Here is the Boon Boom Changer. So you can see it's relatively the same size. It just has the siren on top, and this is a square, this is a circle. Otherwise, they're very, very similar. And then you have the reader here with the speaker. You have your on and off switch. This one's up here. This one's up here. So pretty much the same place. Slide them over. Battery compartment is even kind of in the same place. So if you would ever need to change batteries, you would just depress this piece. Then this will slide out. Two LR44 watch batteries in there. You even have this piece, which looks very, very similar if it's not exactly the same, which I think it actually might be. Just painted a little bit darker shade of silver. And then you have a button on the bottom instead of the roll piece here. So yeah, very similar. About same size. Just have the giant siren here. So we'll go ahead, we'll turn this on. So it says Boon Boom Booster. If we hit this underneath the button, You kind of get the siren for Boon Black, and then you get that kind of crunching sound for Boon Orange, since these kind of construction vehicles. We'll go ahead and hit the button here on the side. So there you go, you are transformed. So as you can see, it has this piece here behind the light, so you really won't be able to see the light from the back. I assume that, you know, it's kind of a concave piece of plastic, I assume, to make it, you know, shine more this way, but I'll do it again. Basically, you're going to hit this 3 times, then you'll see the light start to kind of flash until you hit the button here on the bottom. So there we go. We are transformed. So if we bring this piece back in, so if we have it in the handle configuration, you're just going to slide it on right here. So you get a cool little jingle there along with the kind of siren sound. Now again, that's for Boon Black because he uses Patakar 1 and Patakar 2. If you hit it once, starts it. If you hit it again, it stops it. But now if we hit it again... So you kind of get like the sound of the heavy construction vehicles for Boon Orange. I think that's kind of cool. So it knows it's being used by 2 different members of the team, so it's got sounds for both. I think that's pretty cool. If we hit the button on the side here... So you get the attack sound for Boon Boom Crush. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this. If we change into either the axe or sword mode, we'll push this down. It does not make a sound when you change, which is kind of a bummer. So now we are in the axe mode. If we hit the trigger down here, you get kind of a generic slash sound. If you switch it to the sword mode, you get the same slash sound. There's really no way for this to know if you are in the sword mode or the axe mode. I would assume there's something in here that when you swivel this around, like this is probably depressing a button right now, which is how it knows it's in one of the weapon modes. And then when you swivel this around, it knows it's in the handle mode. But there's no way for it to know between these two. So that's kind of a bummer. You're going to get that same sound. If we hold the button down... So you get that crush attack sound again. So that's kind of cool. You can hit the button again. So you get the same sound if you hit the button 3 times, or if you hold the trigger down, it's the same Boom Boom Crush. So that's the same whether you're in handle mode or in weapon mode. It still kind of alternates between the jingle with the sirens or the construction vehicle sounds. So yeah, that is pretty much it for what this does on its own. I gotta be honest, the axe and the sword mode, again, I still really feel like that is essentially the same mode. I mean, the toy treats it as the same sounds, same attack sounds. It just, I don't know. I don't know why that is two different modes to them. I just feel like they should have done one melee, one range, just like the Boon Boom handle. Would have made sense. I really feel like you could have had this flip back like that, and it could have been a gun mode. But I'm not a toy designer, so what do I know? But in any case, there's a couple other things we can do just for fun. So we can go ahead and slide the changer on here. Not going to get anything from the trigger, but you can hit this. So you get a very similar Boom Boom Crush attack sound, but I just wanted to show off that, you know, it's all the same rail system, you know, the sizes are the same, so you can slide this on here, you know, instead of the Buster or Booster. I think it's the Buster. In any case, this does work with this. And I did forget to show you when you want to remove it, there's this little button right here that you just press down, and then you can slide it off. Similarly, we can put the booster on the Boon Boom handle, if I line it up correctly. So by hooking it to this, you'll actually get it to say Boon Boom Finish, which I don't think it will say connected to anything else. So that's kind of interesting. Also, you'll notice it does the kind of like siren with the jingle, and then it kind of throws in a little bit of the construction vehicle sounds. Instead of having them be separate, it kind of does like a medley of them, which I thought was kind of interesting when it's connected to this. Unfortunately, there's no way that I can find to get it to stop once you have that going, unless you hit the button 3 times to get the finish sound. But yeah, I thought that was kind of neat. Kind of some interesting, unique sounds when connecting this to the Boon Boom handle as opposed to the change axe. So, pretty cool. And of course, you can connect it to the back of Boonboomger Robo. So I just go ahead and lift this up so that we can slide this on. So you get Boom Boom Crush. You also get that kind of medley of the 2 different ones like we got with the Boon Boom handle. And again, there was no way to stop that unless I hit the button here or simply turn it off. And then you can just slide it right off. And then the last thing to try out is reading all the different cars, because this does have a reader on here, just like with the Boon Boom Changer. So we'll go ahead and start off. We'll do Pato Car 1. So it says police. So it says police, which is kind of the Boonboomger Robo configuration that this car is a part of. It does not actually say Pato Car 1, and then when you hit the button, it kind of says Boonboomger Robo Police. So if we do Pato Car 2, So unfortunately, it's the same exact sound for both of these. It just says police, and then it says Boonboomger Robo Police with a little jingle and the firing sound. So it treats these two cars as the same because they're part of the same configuration. So if we try racing... So it says Night, Classic, so the same sound for these two as well because they're part of the same configuration. I think you can see where we're going with this. So the same sound for both shovel and dozer. We'll try off-road. And wagon. So same sound for wagon and off-road since they go together. I'm kind of interested to see what these three are going to do because they're not really part of an official configuration. I didn't quite catch what it said at first. So interesting, this one will say Bakuage Sentai Boonboomger, and this one does not, but otherwise the sounds are the same. So that says Super Boonboomger Robo. So there you go. Not as intricate of a reader as the Boon Boom Changer is, which I think makes sense. But it's kind of weird that it obviously can read all of the cars because it knows what configuration they're in, but it's duplicating the sound. So I guess maybe they just wanted it to be a little different because if it was exactly the same as the Boon Boom Changer, what's the point? So maybe they wanted it to just be a little bit different of a reader. But it does read all the cards because it has to know which car is part of which configuration. It just doesn't give a unique sound for each car. So that's kind of interesting. I think the Boon Boom Change Axe is pretty cool. I definitely think the handle configuration is my favorite. I think that's my favorite of the three modes. Axe is probably my second favorite. Sword is by far my least favorite. Definitely should have been a ranged weapon, whether they made a crossbow or a bow and arrow or just a gun or something. It doesn't make sense to me to have two close quarter weapons. What's the point? Why not just use the axe all the time? Why need the sword? It doesn't really make any sense to me. I think the booster's cool. Obviously all the sounds are contained in that. But I feel like on the show they're always using them together, so it probably doesn't really make sense to have this section have its own electronics, whereas the other three members of the team, you know, they use the changer and they use the handles separately, so it makes sense for those two items to have their own sounds. Yeah, I like the jingle with the police sirens, I think is fun. The construction vehicle sounds, I think, are fun. The crush attack is fine. You know, as far as a reader goes, I think it's kind of interesting that they tried something different where they have it say the name of the combo that the car is a part of instead of just saying the name of the car. It makes sense to have it not be exactly the same as the changer, because what's the point of that? If you already have the changer, why do you need it to be the same? And if you ever, I guess, can't figure out what combo a car is a part of, this will tell you, and you can kind of match them together that way. I guess that could come in handy. I like the flashing lights. All the jingles and music I think is pretty good. I mean, if you're on a budget and you have to choose between this and the Boon Boom Changer, I would say pick the Changer. It's got more functionality. But if you have the means, I think this is a fun little addition to the collection. There's definitely some fun to be had with this. You know, it has the reader, it has the cool sounds, it has the jingle, it can connect to the robot just like the Changer. You can swap this with the Changer on this and the handle, so there's cross compatibility there. So there's definitely a decent amount of functionality in this thing. I just think this part of it you probably won't use all that much. You're probably going to use the booster more than anything, but you can't buy just the booster on its own, which again makes sense because it's kind of integrated into this. So yeah, it's up to you. Do you need this one? I would say not nearly as much as you should get the Changer, but I still think it's fun, and I definitely still think there's interesting things you can do with it. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks so much for watching.